All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. I hope you all having a big time. This early 30 in the highlands desert of Colorado. I only heard the chickens like sound off once, and it may have been a car passing. We had wind earlier, and that could have set them off or whatever. It's pretty early, is what I'm trying to get at. But I did want to catch this while we have wind, so I can make this video. I don't know if you can see this. We're going to have to wait for this to happen. But this is really open. I've had a couple comments where people say, "Oh, that's not open, open." You had the plastic or whatever. That's actually open, open. Is That's the wind blowing, or the. It just depends on which direction the wind is coming from. Is what I'm trying to get at. This is actually blowing past, so like the vacuum pulling it outward. Normally, it would be like pushing inward a little bit and then going up the elevator to the upstairs and out that way. But this is more dramatic. It shows you that it's literally physically open to the outside. No fooling. This is you can only store so much in batteries unless you have a lot of flipping money to buy a lot of batteries. And I'm not saying that that's a bad idea. I would love to have two of the MB56 48 volt batteries. There are like four of these jobs sticking out here. And I would like to have two of them. You can build your own for like less than 4,000. I've not seen any commercially available yet, or what do you call that? Not commercial, retail. For resale. I've not seen anything like that. Do it yourself boxes, and then the cells are Eve or whoever you're going to go with. I think Eve may be the only one making those cells at the minute. Don't hold me to that. Cattle may be doing some too. But Eve, I know, does, is what I'm saying. That's where I've been looking at. Now the floor this holds more energy than the batteries could ever want to, at least mine. And oh yeah, you can see it easier through the lid. I learned that yesterday. 286 kilowatt. I only bought that on the 10th of October. It probably got installed about the 12th-ish. I'll have to look back. But it's already a third of what an all-electric house consumes in a month. What it's already put into the floor. That's a lot of energy, y'all. I mean, like, a lot. I don't know how to put that in other words, other than that's a lot. But the floor is holding at 86 coming out, 87 coming out of the floor. That's a good temperature. I mean, it's a little bit too warm for even socks today, but I got them on. It's like 82, 83 degrees on the floor surface. The house is like really warm, even with the air blowing in and out. And it's 24 degrees outside, y'all. Just for perspective, just for perspective, it's 24. Tomorrow it'll be 14 or something like that. It's going to be down in the teens. One night it's going to be like 19, and the other night it's going to be like 14. I don't remember which one is what. But that'll be a test for how well it can do. I got little boards here. That's what those little boards are for. If it gets too like we get real wind up here, like severe stupid wind. If it gets really bad, then I take the little board. I'll pull the plastic taunt and put the board up and screw the cleat in. And then, the air, there's a thickness of plastic. It's still that cold on the outside. It just can't pass so easily. Right now, this is just a way to get rid of the excess heat in the house. I don't have an HVAC like exchange system. And as soon as I can build the sand battery, that'll probably be one of the next things that I do, is that HVAC exchange. Because the floor, you can only go up to about 105, 110-ish before it just gets hot enough to breathe. You can't hardly breathe in the house, no matter how much air you're exchanging. So the idea is to go with the sand battery that you can get up to 5, 6, 700 degrees, and then extract the heat away from it as needed, whether that be in hot water for hydronic flooring or whatever, just conventional heating the air. But there's more to play with that way. I'm limited right now, not from what the battery. Yeah, I mean the batteries are a limit, but I don't know. I can't put some of this stuff into sense for y'all. Is what I'm trying to get at. I know what I'm trying to say. I've had 2 Category 4 truck wrecks, and I can't get it out sometimes, y'all. And it frustrates me, and but I've learned to live with that part a little bit better than it used to really get all over me. It doesn't so much anymore. I've done about as much as I can. Let's word it that way. I've done about as much as I can to get heat into the floor without like jumping up one size bigger hot water heater that has 2 elements to where I can like dump more into it. But then you would need like an air exchange because the floor would be it would be warm, like you wouldn't even want to wear socks, kind of like today. You don't want to wear socks, it's that warm. But the only way to cool the air down would be to physically exchange the air. Before, I didn't have that kind of power. I never had this kind of power to waste 300 kilowatt into the floor before. I mean, that would require running the generator, and I was not doing that. I shut that dude off December 4th, 2019, and never keyed it. I've started it a couple times when I did oil changes, and I even stopped doing that. The oil it's in there, it's brand new. It's never been run since I changed it. I mean, there's no reason to keep on. If I do anything with the 2 big, I got 2 industrial generators. If I do anything at all with them, is I would pull the carburetor completely off and then get a propane kit to where it's only propane, no gas BS at all. And then I would run them off with propane, but they would have to be like in a cargo container beyond the solar the solar panels out there. I can't stand the death rattle that those little motors have. There's just something about them I can't. I just don't do well. Is up here you don't really need the cooling effect because it doesn't get hot enough, like especially in the wintertime. And I've thought about mufflering them to like a reverse concrete cavity fill kind of deal, just to make it dead silent. But I never went that extreme. But I did think about it a few times. Is what I'm trying to get at. Wow, they are noisy. If you've never lived, if you only think that generators are for like hurricanes, power outages, you probably think, ooh, they're the coolest thing in the world, because that's kind of what I did before I moved up here off grid. I did some of that storm damage cleanup FEMA crap back in the day, and I love turning back on the power when there was no power. That was an empowering feeling. Now I get my kicks with solar, big batteries, the inverters, and trying to maximize as much as I can with the power available. Just do it through power management is what I'm trying to get at. But like I said, if my druthers is I would still add 2 big, massive 48-volt batteries that the system would run off of. Dedicate these for a little go-kart or whatever. Another subsystem for the house. The old system that I had was lead acid. It used that as a charger. A couple other inverters that I don't have out here anymore. Oh, there's one right there. I got a couple more inverters that were in the system. And then a 12-volt lead acid, 2-volt cells, 1,200 amp hour lead acid batteries. And that little bitty 250 amp lithium replaced all that. One battery. There's a lot of old time people, and I just got on this on a comment or whatever, that really like wooden handles, and people old like me, and they like wooden handles. Well, we like them for a reason, because wood has you can go X and then at Y or Z it breaks. You know what I mean? But you can do X all day long. As long as you're not doing nothing sketchy. Fiberglass just seems like you can do X and you don't know when Y or Z is going to happen, and the damn thing just breaks or folds. The cheap ones, the thin ones. Or you can get the really heavy ones, and those last pretty good, but you got to keep them like hung upside down. There's rules for those, because if they get any amount of moisture in the handle, they're going to break. They'll crack. They'll split the handle, and that's just part of it. But like those heavier ones, if you hang them upside down like you should have to done the first place, is kept your tools up, they'll last you forever in a day, and probably 3 days more, unless you run it over with your car. Wooden handles are not that way. And I used to be such a Puritan, y'all. I had a sawmill. I had a big old piece of PVC tube, and I used to make all my own shit. I would go out and pick the clear grain hickory, if we had any ash or anything like that, or if I could find it. That was one thing. We used to get dunnage, is what I'm saying, but real clear grained ash dunnage made excellent handles. Why they use that stuff as dunnage, I just couldn't fathom. But I always went out of my way. Had a small cabinet shop back in the day. I was heating it with one of them oil heaters, and y'all got to watch out for them, because in the warranty it says if that wick starts to fail, in which it basically says it's going to fail the first time you light it, or the first time you use it, or the first time it gets wet, then it's on you. And that dude burned down my shop, hands down, no bullshit. And the only reason I know that is because I had one. I was a sold individual. They provide so much heat, it's crazy. So I was sold on it. I thought it was lightning, thought it was act of God. I didn't know what it was, that burned down that shop. I got out here. I used one in the greenhouse, and the wick failed. And the only thing that saved it was the plastic was 16 feet tall, or 12 feet on the ridge top. It ruined the plastic, is what I'm trying to get at, but it didn't like burn like the desert down, is what I'm trying to get at. Those little jokers are dangerous as a cock pistol, y'all. Kind of like the oil heaters. The oil ones were good, but they caught fire. The other ones, the coolant ones, they sucked, but they were safe or whatever. Same thing. Be careful when it comes to certain stuff. Can't stress safety enough. Everything here is like overkill on the safety rated, just for that, so you can have peace of mind. There's no way you're going to get insurance out here. It's just not going to happen. If you don't take care of your stuff, if you burn it down, you can't get somebody to crowdfund you. That's not going to work, is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, I was just looking at this plastic. It was just out of view. I should have been watching it the whole time. It's picking up. It's only like 8 miles an hour. It was like 16 or 20 earlier. It was really banging. That's what gave me the idea to do the video. But I'm just saying that's a substantial amount of air exchange, and the floor is doing like no problem keeping up. I don't know if I did this one or not, but 81 degrees. It's phenomenal, is what I'm trying to get at. That's just phenomenal, y'all. You can't, and that's just energy that would otherwise not be, like saved or whatever. It would just be shunted off in the daytime. The batteries are full. So doing it this way, this provides me a massive battery that these couldn't even come up against, is what I'm trying to get at. in the third of a month that it's been in play, roughly, right? The 12th to the 20th, yeah, 10 days, so half month or something like that. 300 kilowatt hours, it would take a massive amount of battery to hold that much energy. This is doing just as much good because it's re-radiating what I need, and that's heat when it's 24 degrees outside with the wind blowing. Um, it works, is all I'm trying to get at. There's some people I know that are using mini splits, batteries to run mini splits. That may not be your wisest option, is what I'm trying to get at. Because heating the air, if your house is not sealed hermetically, you can't do anything like this. I mean, that would be like just positively not possible. Trying to run a mini split, especially off of batteries, because you got to run like a conservative load. You can go down to 80% on these batteries, won't hurt them, nothing like that. But on a full load, you don't want to go much past 50% because then you got to fill them batteries back up in a day's time the next day. That's quite a bit, is what I'm trying to get at. I try to stay 85%. I only use the top 15% of the battery at night. I could. I mean, I could flip on everything. I'd wash clothes. I could do all kinds of stuff all night if I want to. I just don't get the urge to squirrel. My worst thing is I make coffee in the middle of the night. But but as far as like running the floor, that's shut off. It only runs when there's sun. If it's going to be like a really, really sunny day, is I'll turn it on early morning, like 5, 6, like right now. I'll flip it on. But today I think we were going to have clouds, and I don't know. I didn't look, is what I'm trying to get at, or I did, and I forgot. But I'm not. I didn't make up my mind to turn it on, so whatever reason, I decided not to. The shit. I don't remember what I was going to say. But it's a good way to store the energy that you would otherwise not use. And that's what I'm saying. Some of these solar systems that I see on the internet, they'll have like 30 something hundred panels in one tiny little battery, and it's like, oh no, that's you can't. It don't work like that. I get it that some people in the cloudy areas, they have to have a lot more panels than I do. I only have 12 in the back, 10 old ones in the front. And that's all. I got room for 24 in the back, and I can rework the rack. That's what I was going to do for the front ones and replace them eventually. The new monocrystal, the bifacial monocrystal panels are just that much better, y'all. In for the price is 6 years ago, those panels were used, and I bought them for $100 a piece. They're still worth about $100 a piece on Marketplace, is what I'm trying to get at. That's not the deal. But the new panels that I just bought in the back that are far better, 3 times better, are only $136 a piece, brand new, with a warranty. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't have to have 50 panels or 100 panels or anything like that. And I can't even suggest anybody just like randomly, I want this much and that much and this much, and they've never lived off grid. That's just silly people talking like that. Move off grid, get a feel for what it is, get a real feel for what it takes to live off grid, and that's to conserve. You can't like live like you're in an apartment. Granted, I got enough power between the inverters and the batteries. I could literally turn on everything all at once. There's no reason to do that. It is, if I balance the power through the day, use as much as I can while the sun's up, like from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, those hours, is it way overproduces. And to give you an example of that, is the panels in the back, the best way I could match that inverter to get the requirements, the voltage high, the amperage low, the wattage, kind of medium. These aren't real big. These aren't real big inverters. The but they're not expensive either. Like $300, really super cheap, but good quality, solid. I don't remember. It's Victor, not Victron. Victor is the maker or the model of the inverter. But solid is what I'm trying to get at. Good solid. This Y&H is I bought a 240 panel from them, dead bricked right out of the box. I guess I got the refund. I don't know yet. Amazon said it would be processed, so I'm gonna have faith in them. I do want a 240 because I have some 240 appliances that I want to run like a griddle like this, but it's 240. This one's 120. Is the but the but I don't without the other inverter I'm not going to do it. And I got, like I said, 12 more spots up on the rack to put more panels, and I'll wait till I get a 240. And what I was wanting to do is actually get two 240s that are split legs, so I can have true split phase power and then just save one of these, like turn it off and save it, and then use the other one for a light load in the house or whatever like that. Maybe make the other one into a dedicated power for the chicken, instead of scrapping the panels in the front or selling them, just make them, for the chicken, a dedicated chicken maker. Because I am off grid, like I'm not really prepping, but I know how to survive. I mean, I've always had a garden all my life. I've always raised chickens, all that happy crap. That's just something I've always done. I mean, and with just a little bit of power, even this 12-volt one, because that's what used to run my entire house, and charge my chair and everything. And you want to talk about some overworked equipment, is just them little inverters from Tractor Supply or Harbor Freight. And did I wear them out on the warranty? Nope. The same inverter, that one I bought 12 years ago, still kicking. And I use it like portable because the battery's light enough. I can pull it onto my lap, drive outside. I got a little wagon out there. I'll put it on, and if I need to drive it around the yard or whatever. But otherwise, that's like 1,500 watts. It's like a portable Jackery on steroids. The little box on top is the charger, so it can just plug in. And it's a multi-volt, so you can go, I think 90 or 100 volt is what it takes. Like a dirty generator, a generator running like shit is all it takes to power that. It'll clean up the voltage and then charge your batteries, and it can go from like 100 volt to 240 or whatever. It has a wide range, is what I'm trying to get at. Excellent chargers. That's lead time. I couldn't recommend them dudes enough as far as the charger goes. And I use a lot of chargers, y'all. Like, these are the chargers for my wheelchair. I do a lot of battery charging. And living off grid is a challenge. I mean, I'm not saying it ain't. But those are excellent as far as what I'm pointing at, and then in the camera, like I'm pointing way over here. It looks like I'm pointing between the cooker pot and the batteries, but I'm trying to point at the battery charger over there. It's hard for me to see and then see what y'all see through the monitor. But excellent little battery charger, and they're kind of pricey, $250 ish. But they make them in every voltage level for the lithium, and I cannot recommend them enough for lithium. You don't want to do old school kind of chargers in doing it by voltage on lithium. That's what is the problem. Let the battery management system do its job. Give it the right voltage. Set voltages. Like these are all within 1/10 of a volt. You can program exactly what you need for the absorb, bulk, float, all that kind of junk. Lithium is real easy, 1 voltage. It's dead on easy. Lead acid, where you really had to work at it, they were excellent for the programming part of it, is what I'm trying to get at. The couldn't recommend them enough. But can you do that with the lithium? No, no way, no man. It, like I said, one voltage, and once it achieves it, because the battery management system, this right there, that 300 BMS that's up on top of that, that's actually monitoring each individual cell. You know, the 8 cells that are inside that, and then there's double in this box. The So it's monitoring those cells is what I'm trying to get at, the each individual cell. But the if you get the app, the battery, the thing has an app. The BMS has an app on it, and it'll tell you that. It'll tell you everything about it. When one cell gets out of whack or out of parameter, it shuts down the charging on the battery, which another old school kind of charger does not do, and hence why they detonate one cell and cause it to catastrophically fail. That's just reality, y'all. Don't do it like that. If you're gonna go lithium, go Li-Fi faux pour. I can't even say that. Lithium iron phosphate is the chemistry. Lithium iron phosphate, and that's what you want. Just That's what you want. Don't use car batteries. Don't use like chromesium, magnesium, aluminum, or whatever. Any of those exotic lithium metal batteries that they use for cars or for high discharge. They're not made for solar, and you will get in trouble. You know what I mean? Don't save a dime to cost yourself $10,000. Don't do that. It's just not worth it. Not when these are so cheap. Like I was saying, the bigger batteries, these were about 1,200 a piece, maybe a little bit more, not much, but those were about 1,100. Now they're way more. I'm just saying when I bought them, they were that way. So y'all don't price that because everything has went up. But these were about 1,200 or 1,199 or something like that when I bought these. But the battery that I'm talking about is like 4 of these. It's 33 kilowatt hours, 33,000 kilowatt hour, however you say that. Yeah, kilowatt is 1,000. So 33 kilowatt hours of energy. And they're like 35, 4,500 bucks for one battery. But you got to build it yourself. You know, that's the downside is you got to have it shipped and build it yourself. And it still has warranty, but not like this. This has, I think it's like 40-something year warranty. It goes by the cycles, and the battery management can tell how many times it cycles. There's a lot of crap on these. Really cool. The new technology in these batteries are well worth the extra little bit of money. And then the power that you get out of them. Holy shit. Wow, what a difference. Right here is I have about 1,000 amp of power. The lead acid that I used to have was 1,200 amp of power. So comparable is what I'm trying to get at. I can run everything to include cooking my meals, the refrigerator, the freezer, all of it que sera on 15% of the lithium. It would max the lead acid out completely. It would be down like 11 something volts in the morning. It was horrendously. It would max it. Yes, there's a difference in voltage, but not, if you extrapolate the number, not comparable. Not at all. Lithium is just far better battery. Li-Fi PO4 is far better chemistry, lithium, than anything else. And some of them other batteries, they may be more tuned for a car, but they're going to suck when it comes for a house. For just like the lead acid, they're going to give up the ghost way quicker than these. These are like industrial pit bull kind of no give up bulldog kind of mentality. They're designed for trolling motors, for a long high energy current draw, and they're 3C. They're 300 amp hour BMS at 3C, so it can go up to like 900. It's ridiculous the energy that these things are capable of. Would I ever need that or want that? No, 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 no. Both of these things at max, even if they could make 4,000, which they can't, they're only 3,600. I was just doing 4,000 for the math. That's 100. That's 140 amp each. Okay, 280 amp total, and it can't make that, so it could never use that. Is what I'm trying to get at. That's the BMS of one battery, without being like overworked in any way. With the three, that's one battery over there, and these are. It's hard to explain. 12 volt, but bigger amp hour. But at 24 volt, that would still be 560. This is 628 for these over here. But a lot of backup reserve power. And I didn't honestly know which way I was going to go, whether it was going to be with 412s, and that would make that bigger block of battery. This is going to do the same thing. These talk back to you. They got that Bluetooth management system, or the Bluetooth thing. Kind of like them, probably better than those, only because of that. Li-Time has a smart shunt that does the exact same thing. I haven't gotten it yet, but maybe I'll make that decision once I get the shunt, because I do plan on getting it. And then when I do, it'll be able to communicate with the inverters directly. But I need a bus bar and all. I need a bunch of jazz that I don't have, and I'm pretty happy and tapped out this year with what I've done. By the time I get it paid, by next spring, I should have it pretty much paid back or paid off, and then I'll go again. But the whole balance of the system that I want to do, the 12 extra panels, the 2 big inverters, and they're big. The everything total is like 16 grand. I looked at it the other day. The 2 new batteries and the everything is about 16 grand. That, to be honest, has not went up as much as some of the other stuff, like steel, different things like that. Raw commodities went crazy. I'm so glad I built them racks out there when I did, because those would have been, wow, I could not have imagined. The price of lumber, the price of steel has just went stupid with these tariff things. And if y'all voted for them, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy paying double and triple. I just hope you enjoyed it, because I'm not. I'll be honest, I'm not enjoying it. It is getting almost too expensive to want to live. They're taking all the joy out of it, like completely, utterly. And then people wonder why Elmo and his other billionaire buddies want to have 100 kids apiece, and everybody else in the nation, they don't even want to get pregnant, let alone have 100 kids. I mean, it's disparity. It's a broken system. We have 4,000 billionaires and 330 million poor people. And yeah, I get that you think you're middle income job and you're making $200,000 or $400,000 a year. You're still poor compared to a billionaire. There's such a discrepancy that yes, you're at the top of the alpha chain in the world. You're making that big bucks, but that insanely greedy, addicted individual that's sucking the life out of the world, we can't afford these people anymore, y'all. We can't afford slimy ass greasy politicians. We cannot afford the billionaire class. Yeah, 500 million, something like that. Make it reasonable. Make it above and beyond. I'm not talking no pissy little $250,000, $400,000 a year job. I mean, 500 million. Make it something real, but that's it. Then share the rest. You greedy little cunt. Fucking stop stealing from everybody. You don't have to do that. wannabe maybe bad man child. Yeah, your daddy probably did something bad to you. Leave it the fuck alone. Stop being just a greedy ass cunt. I don't know how else to say it. There's no reason for billionaires in the world. None. None at all. So, but is my take, yo. We gotta, like, you gotta share power. You gotta manage it. You gotta manage the wealth of the world too. We can't have 4,000 crack addict level maniacs, greed maniacs, destroying the world for the balance, for the 8 billion on the earth. It's just not fair. Or, I mean, there's more than 4,000 billionaires in the world, but yeah, we can't do this. It's not sustainable. And we're destroying the planet. I mean, the planet, we are a virus that the planet will get rid of. We have to live within our ability on the planet, y'all. We can't keep doing what we're doing. This is not sustainable whatsoever. We're not going to work. But not even for very much longer. Like my lifetime, I'm old. I could probably go tomorrow. I mean, that's not a big thing. A lot of you that might make it another 30-something years, like 2060, this is going to look like Mad Max. It's going to look rough. That's all, it's the way it is. Hollywood doesn't paint reality. They paint dystopian, like, rainbows and unicorn kind of crap. It's not real. We're going to be more like the sand dune movies of the space movies than the Galactic Empire part of it. One, we have religion and we have billionaires. We don't have control any way on our species or on our civilization or on our direction or anything like that. We got people sapping the life out of us from either direction. So, all right, y'all, we're going to leave it there. Talk to you then. Bye.